Hello there, everyone. I wanted to talk a little bit about the huge energies that are moving through us, swirling around us since the eclipse that we have just passed through. We're 10 days beyond the eclipse now. It feels like it's already a lifetime ago, yet at the same time, it feels like it was only yesterday. And regardless of when you might be watching this video, I believe and feel that what we're moving towards is a consistent incremental shift towards our fullest remembering of the truth of who we really are and our awakening. So whether you're watching this just after the eclipse or perhaps after that, chances are what's coming through is going to be similar but different, but the goal from it will be the same. So from this eclipse portal, whether you were aware of it or not, whether it felt smooth for you or intense for you, one thing is true, and that is you are different now. We are different now. The planet is different now. If we were able to see with our physical eyes actually what was occurring on the planet, we would see that ancestral lines have been healed, souls have been liberated, our luminous, energetic light bodies and fields have been completely rewired and upgraded. And we are expanding our capacity to be able to receive and integrate these frequencies of light that have been coming through. So this morning I was on a call with my beautiful Humpy Canustas, my medicine women in training, and we were talking a lot about a burnout actually, and some of the different things that contribute to that. And one of the major things that sometimes we may overlook is that the intensity of the frequencies of the energies that are coming through can be a lot for the physical body to maintain, especially when many of us are also working in expanded experiences like ceremonies, modalities like breath work, cacao ceremonies, medicine journeys, even just our meditation practices and our daily rituals and the things that we are walking through on our spiritual path, our awareness, our mindfulness, all of those things that we are taking part in is opening us more, and it's attuning our nervous systems more to be able to receive these energies. When this first begins to happen, which has been happening for many people for a long time now, I think it's really ramped up since probably the last eclipse, since 2017. That's when I noticed really a huge shift. And I think if you have a look at where you are now, this is being recorded here in April 2024. The last eclipse was 7 years ago. So that's the other powerful thing about this, is that we are closing and also opening a new 7-year cycle. So if you cast your awareness back to what was happening for you in 2017, you might see that there were some major transitions, huge events that were happening for you. Perhaps you were going through a dark night of the soul, or perhaps the opposite, you were popping through, as I was, into a whole new reality for yourself. Really, for me, I stepped very much out. I gave my business away in January of 2017, and really by the May I completely cut ties with anything that was holding me to that old life. It took a lot of courage. That meant relationship, that meant the income, the little bit of income that I was still earning as a consultant to the business. And I'm not saying that you should do that, but my process was that I had the guidance. I had a very powerful dream where a being turned up to me and said, if you're willing and ready and courageous enough to truly and completely let that stuff go, then I invite you to come and step through my gateway where all you're waiting for and more is on the other side. I'll tell you that story another time. But that's the process that I had to go through, and I did it, and I catapulted. This is in the last eclipse. It was like the sensation of being on the freeway in a Ferrari with the handbrake on, and that energy of that eclipse at that time, which I didn't realize until I look back in retrospect, along with my being in tune with those energies, ferrying me in that direction and listening and moving with that flow of energy, it really opened things up for me. By August, I'd met my beloved Lars, who I'm still madly in love with, and even more so every single day, the most supportive and amazing man I could ever wish to call into this life to share my journey with. and my spiritual path, which is in perfect alignment with my sacred enterprise, shall we say, the way that in which I support myself in this world to be able to share more with others, came into perfect alignment, and things became very easy and very abundant very quickly, actually, with much less effort than I had ever put into anything before. It's quite incredible. So here we are 7 years on, and we're right in the crux of that again, and we're going to continue to be feeling these energies for some time. April is a very intense month, and it's going to continue throughout this entire year. You probably know that this year is really a point of no return. It's kind of like massive, massive, massive shifts. I think we are all going to be very, very different at the end of this year when we look back. So the thing is we have been receiving these energies, as I said, I'm just looping back, for some time, and we have been experiencing a lot of weird and whacked out symptoms and being kind of thrown around by the energy quite a bit. Those symptoms can be very physical. They can be very dense, because as those high frequencies of light come in, a couple of things happen. First of all, they seek out the areas of stagnation and the blocks in the body, and they go to work to unravel, to unhinge that, to bring consciousness into those stagnant, dense areas, so that the energy can start to, the divinity that you are, can start to really be integrated fully into the body. That can be uncomfortable. Also, the frequency of that energy will almost magnify areas of density, right? Because we feel the contrast, we feel the opposite. So it's really normal. It's really, really normal to have things on the physical level, like the headaches, like in different parts of the body, especially through the spinal column, wherever that may be for you, because this is the Shushumna, or the sacred staff, as we say in the Andes, where the Kausai, the life force, vitality, the energy, the Sami energy runs through and comes through like a torus and connects us into the earth and comes up through the central channel, connects us into divinity, and at the same time is running like a torus. So this energy is all running up, and of course we have the energy centers up that column in the Vedic system. We have the chakra system in the Andes, we have the pohpos, so it's normal to be feeling these things in different parts of the spine, and it can be in other parts of the bodies too. For me, it's been in the extremities, in the fingers. I have had a headache every day since the eclipse. Today's kind of the first day that I'm free of the headache, but I'm still feeling, because I had a really big activation here in the back of my neck. So it was like pulsating, like a heartbeat in here, activating this 3rd and 1/2 chakra, which is very powerful and important. When my dad was passing, I watched him come out through here, his consciousness. So there is all this stuff that's moving and shaking, and it's really normal also to look for reasons why. Our human self wants to figure it out, what these things are meaning, and that's good. You've got to tend to yourself, look after yourself, but at the same time, like you keep hearing me say, it's celebrating, stepping back and being like, wow, this is epic, look at this stuff moving through. There's kind of almost a bit of a relief in it when you know that what is happening is incredible, right? And it can be coming in emotional ways and psychological ways. All sorts of things can be manifesting, okay? So that's where we've been. We've been moving it through the body in this way. Now, what I feel that we are moving into and being asked to do is that this preparation has been bringing us to a point where we are now being asked to retrain, mentor, coach our central nervous system to be able to fully open to not only receive that energy and integrate that energy, but allow that energy to saturate and be fully awakened, fully encoded. It's already there. The blueprint is already there. It's just being switched on. But, we haven't been used to having, receiving, and operating in with our physical eyes open as we walk through the world each day in that frequency of energy. So we have to kind of retrain our central nervous system to be able to receive that fully and completely. And it actually requires being in the body to do it, not out of the body. And you know, so many of us, we think we're grounded, we think we're in the body, but I can tell you, you're probably walking around most of the time not being able to feel your toes. You know, like there's not many people that are truly grounded. I look at my beloved, he's a truly grounded person and it's effortless for him. And sometimes I'm a little bit jelly because I would just wish that I was that grounded. But then for him, on the other hand, he feels like he would like to expand more, although he does think that he would go crazy if he was in my in my physical body and my experience. But we joke about it. So we balance each other out like that. But when we're fully grounded in the body and at the same time we're aware of, expanded to and receiving this divinity, we become the conduits that we were always meant to be. This is shamanism. We are walking between the worlds. We're connected between the inner world, we call it the Ukupacha, the middle world, the Kausaipacha, the upper world, the Hanakapacha, and beyond, below and above that even. We're multi-dimensional. That's what it means. Walking in the fifth dimension, as you've heard me say so many times, is here and now. It's not somewhere else. It's a state of being. It's how we're going to choose to live. What frequency are we going to be in? Are we going to be in love? Are we going to be in collaboration, cooperation? Or are we going to be in fear and lack and greed? Now, up until now, that has been a choice that's constantly been needed to make. And yes, it still is a choice that we constantly need to make. However, the energies that have been coming through are bringing us more into this naturalness in these we'll say in the heart-based frequencies, right? It's more effortless to hang out there longer. It feels more normal to be there. And as we are moving through this, and as you're moving into that more, also be prepared, because it can be showing up in your life in the physical 3D, that there can be challenges that arise with that, difficulties with family, feeling a confusion of who am I, where am I going, what am I doing, does any of this make sense anyway? I just want to put it all down. I wish I had never woken up. I just want to go back to sleep. That would be so much easier if I didn't have to take responsibility for all of this stuff, you know. All of that is a totally normal part of the process too. And a couple of things to say about that. One is people are going to drop away. It's not easy, but sometimes it does need to happen. It's a very normal part of the process. And you can allow that to happen with love. You can allow that to happen with grace. You know, for us, it's not to try and force and change and fix the people around us to be something that we think they should be, or drag them along kicking and screaming by the hair to come with us on our next level, our journey of awakening. That's not the path of the light worker at all. It's to love them where they're at, to be compassionate for where they're at, to allow them to be where they're at, and hopefully to be surrounded, the ones that are close to us, to be with people that don't have to agree with us, they don't have to be like us, but they're able to allow us to be in whatever that is on our path, on our next level. Like for Lars and I'm probably much more proactive, and you know, I'm more dialed into those frequencies than he is, but he loves it because he's like, yeah, this is great. I get to support and I get to witness and I receive the benefits of that, right? So you don't have to find somebody that is as, you know, don't throw your relationships away thinking, oh my God, my husband's like so 3D. Awesome. Some people that are in the 3D are the biggest heart-centered people ever. They don't have to try to be anything. So, you know, keep that in mind too, that It doesn't mean that you've got to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It just means to be compassionate. My family, not my mum, but my brothers think I'm batshit crazy. Like, I still love them. I love them to death. I think they're so funny. I, have so much compassion for them, and I hold them in my heart, even though they think I'm mad. So it's fine. It's okay, because I know what I'm here to do, and I keep my eye on the prize. I stay in my own lane, and I do my work, and I know that that example is going to emanate around me. But even for me, as this new doorway is opening to us, what's happening for me is the mind is going from being crazy, decisions and all these crazy, and then empty, like I can't grasp anything. Like, what's happening? Who am I? What am I doing? What is this that I'm even sharing? What's my path? Am I on the right path? It's all of this stuff, but this is the simulation breaking down. Remember, I shared that video about that. This is a breaking down of the ego. This is the ego losing its grip on its identity, on who it thinks it is and who it thinks it should be, so that you can really reclaim your essence, your higher self, your truth, and the originality that comes with that. Like, often now I turn up to my groups, and I'm like, if I try and think about what I'm going to share, I can't. It won't even come, and I'm like, oh shit, even now here talking to you, what's going to come out of my mouth? Yet when I sit down, I align, I center, I open myself and say, whatever it is that needs to come through, let it come through for my highest good and the highest good of all. And I'm just going to trust that whatever comes out is what these people need to hear right now. And it's always exactly what's needed to be received. So we're moving into this level of trust that is beyond trust. It's asking us not just to trust, it's asking us to know, right? So the knowing means that you are allowing everything that happens, everything that is showing up for you in any way, shape or form, that you know that that is exactly what needs to happen, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it makes no sense, even if, you're like, oh my God, this is just too much, I wish this would stop. But we're being asked really to know that the process is exactly as it's meant to be, and it's taking us exactly where we are meant to be going. And in that knowing, we relax. We relax into it more, allow it more, don't fight it so much, and celebrate it, knowing that it is taking us exactly where we are meant to be. And as we reattune our nervous system to receiving these frequencies, then what we will find is that when these big energies are arriving to us, instead of knocking us flat, like maybe they have, the opposite starts to happen. And the energy starts to become very, very almost orgasmic, It's a lot of vitality that's moving through us. And even when we're feeling physically tired, we can still feel the hum of the energy that's underneath. The body's physically tired, so give it rest. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's like that self-care, as I was sharing with the women today, is no longer a luxury, my darlings. It is a priority. Your self-care must come number one, because your cup needs to be full and overflowing before you are able to give to anybody else. Gone are the days where we can give from an empty cup. And I know that that doesn't feel easy, because right now it feels very fast and there is a lot going on. But now more than ever, as I said, I believe that what we're more than like our meditation style, the way in which we meditate, I believe is changing. Of course, there's still the beautiful classical ways of meditating, but how are we meditating these days is by feeling the juiciness of freedom, of life, of love, of beauty in the body, teaching the body to feel differently and emanating from that place. why does that feel so good? Because that is the new frequency. We're reattuning, retraining ourselves to anchor that frequency so that we can just be in it rather than, it being so structured where we're emptying and sort of waiting for something to happen, which is totally fine too. Of course, that slowing, calming the mind down is number one to be able to manifest everything. But the mind will naturally slow, it will naturally calm when we teach the body to feel differently. So last thing I just wanted to share is I was at an amazing sacred site called Gunung Padang this last weekend, and I was given a very, very special gift there that's totally in alignment with this that I'm sharing now. And I would love for you to check that out. If you want to watch it, you can find the link for that below. And also I've recorded a guided meditation for you. Well, it's more of a somatic process. So in this, I'm going to invite you to be super juiced up, super comfortable to receive this process. If sitting up is the way that you can relax the most, then sit up. But if lying down and being comfy on your pillow, on your bed, feeling really supported and nourished is the way that feels the best for you, then receive it in that way. And I can kind of promise you that if you carve out the time to give that to yourself every day, to do that process and then make that process your own in a way that it comes through from you, and when you work out how you want to integrate these energies that are coming, or how your intuition, because really that's what it is, it's coming back to self-sourcing, to knowing I'm giving you and others around are giving you, and I receive from others too guidance, guide little pointers on, like try this, but then we work with it and see how it actually works in our body and we make it our own. And then the last piece of that is to watch during the day, watch for the sensations, right? So I'm not talking about the heavy sensations that you're so accustomed to feeling, that we're also accustomed to feeling. I am talking about the light sensations, the high frequency sensations, the buzzing, the tingling, the tickling. Move the focus to that. Do you feel it in the womb or in the heart? Do you feel it in the heart? Do you feel it in the third eye? Where is it that these sensations are arriving and arising for you? And start to notice those more, because in that way we also retrain ourselves to those high frequency sensations rather than to only the sensations of density. Okay, so I hope there's something in there that was helpful in some way for you. Check out my story on Gunung Padang. I think you'll really enjoy it. This ancient megalithic site, made famous by Graham Hancock recently in Ancient Apocalypse. And check out the free guided process as well. And all my love to you. And I just want to say, you're doing so well. You're doing so well. I just feel so proud of us all. It brings me to tears. Really, it's very, very touching. And just know that you're right on track, and you are so powerful, and you are here in service to Pachamama, not by doing anything, but just by being who you are. All my love. See you soon. Bye for now.